ما شاء الله، ده كتير قوي كتير قوي. تسنيم ومحمد. Assalamu alaikum. This is Abdel Fattah Ghuzlan. I would like to welcome you in the first session of the first our first meeting in the HP IDEA program. I understand that this is Saturday and you must be enjoying your holiday. However, we're going to make this day like a shorter day. We're going to make it fun and interesting for you to learn more about the HP IDEA program and the structure of the program. What expectations are there for the fellows or for the participants in the program. So this is the HP IDEA program, and this is short for HP Innovation and Digital Education Academy. And this program is running in different areas of the world, in the MENA region and in Africa as well. So it's been running for this is the third day for the program. We have graduated quite a number of schools across several parts of the world, and the program has shown to be making a great impact on student learning and teacher learning and researching and innovative skills. These are the agenda for today. We're going to start with an introduction, HP introduction, and then the mentors who will be joining you for this journey across the year. Two mentors, myself and Ms. Mansoura. And then we're going to introduce the Conference 1 goals and program structure. So as you know, your presence today is part of the Conference 1, and Conference 1 is the beginning of the program. And this conference is done on 2 days. One day is today, and the other day, or day two of the program, of the conference, of conference one, is going to be next Saturday. So we're going to introduce you to the goals and the program structure, and then we're going to show you like a snapshot of the program phases. What are the 3 phases in the program? What these phases entail? What is required from you, and so on, and the assessment, how your work is going to be assessed. And then we're going to have a closer look at phase 1 of the program, because this is the phase that's going to start directly after the conference. We're going also to introduce what we mean by innovation in the context of the HP IDEA program, how we view innovation, and how we can empower teachers and enable teachers to be innovative in their school settings. There will also be a discussion, a very fruitful discussion, that you're going to engage in about the high-level teaching practices. And these are 19 teaching practices that are acknowledged by the University of Michigan, and it has been adopted and seen as a must for any teacher teaching anywhere in the world. And by the end of the day today, we're going to introduce you to a form that will be required to fill in order for the lead fellows or the team leaders in each school to officially register the fellows or the participants in the program. So as part of the introduction, please allow me to welcome Mr. Mayank Dhingra, the Senior Education and Business Leader for Middle East, Africa, and Eastern Europe in HP. He's going to introduce you to the context of the HP IDEA program, where we are at, and where we are aspiring to go. Mr. Mayank, off to you.
Thank you so much, Abdul. This is our 18th cohort, and each time that we launch a cohort, I still get as excited. I still get goosebumps about it. We launched this program about 20 months back, and the genesis for this program was when COVID struck. We were supporting ministries across Middle East and Africa in trying to keep the academic year alive, and so we were helping them create virtual classrooms, bringing technology to the class, and in a sense, creating a hybrid or blended learning approach. What we realized then is that, teachers and teaching profession has come back into sharp focus, because so much more was being expected of teachers, which was not prior to COVID. And teachers were suddenly thrown in the deep end with not enough support. So we realized that, it's not about getting technology into the classrooms. We first need to make sure that the teachers are supported. They feel that they have the ability to take on all of this technology and to create the right outcomes for the students. Because as teachers, I think for you, the outcomes that you drive for your students is paramount. And if we bring in new technology which doesn't support you to do that, I think we are failing you. So from there, Christine, who's the founder of Mirai, and I sort of started brainstorming, and the HP IDEA program was born. The minute we started presenting this to ministries, they loved the program, because for them this was exactly what they needed to make sure that the teachers felt supported and were being skilled or reskilled, upskilled, whatever you want to call it, in the new sort of pedagogy methodology. The good part about this program is that it has no focus on products per se. It is totally focused on you. You are the heart and center and soul of this program. Everything that we're doing here is to support you and to just open new avenues for you to be able to use digital pedagogy in the best way possible. I, in fact, just got back from Rwanda, where, just a couple of hours back. And in Rwanda, we are about to graduate our first cohort. And in Rwanda, the government took all the 120 master trainers on the program. So they felt that the program has so much need and substance that they want to take all the master trainers and let them go through the program so they can train the other teachers and so on. But this is just one example. I mean, in UAE, the ministry adopted the program. We are now running the third cohort there. In Saudi, we've actually had a couple of private schools earlier on the program. But we each time that we add a country, Turkey is going to launch just after you. I still have the same excitement as we had on the first day of launching this program, because I think that this program is a real requirement, and I believe that if we are able to support you and make your life better for yourselves and for your students, we have achieved what we started to do here. So thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here today with you, and I look forward to further interactions with you. But I'm going to hand back to Abdul now. So thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Mike. And what's really worth highlighting is that this program is distinguished from other programs in different ways. Number one, this program is a fellowship program. So it's not a training program that people usually get some training on some aspects of teaching and learning, and then they go to their schools and they apply them. And it's not an academic program in the sense of the university programs where you have lots of theories in it and you get tested and you do research and stuff. So, but this program is unique in terms of it's a fellowship. As Mr. Mike said, this program is about you as teachers, as communities of innovations in your schools, where you undertake innovation projects, and we enable you and we empower you in order to use the research methods and the innovation practices that are widely recognized across the globe, to help you overcome any challenges that you are having in your school, and to help you solve any problems that you may be encountering in terms of teaching and learning and the context where you're working. So this program is a fellowship, and you're participating in this program as schools, not as individuals. So you're participating as school teams that are in their schools, forming what we call the community of innovation in your school. And you work collaboratively, you work in a cooperative way in order to accomplish specific tasks that take you step by step towards the final destination that we're aspiring you to arrive at by the end of this program. We're going to go through all this. We have already planned everything for a fruitful experience for you for this session. And you will have also the chance to ask questions, and you get your questions answered, so that you have a clear picture of what the program is about. Thank you again, Mr. Mayank. And this is just a quick introduction about the people who will be joining you across the year. You will learn from us, and we will learn from you. So my name is Abdel Fattah Ghozlan, and as you can see, this is my picture by the beach, and this is my son. His name is Shadi. He's my only son. I have a small family. I'm currently based in Dubai, and I used to work as a teacher training manager at GEMS Education here in Dubai. So I worked with like 1,000 teachers across GEMS Education schools in the United Arab Emirates, and more specifically with the Arabic, Islamic, and social studies teachers. Where I am now, I'm in Dubai, as I said, but education has no borders. I'm thinking about education wherever education is across the globe. So my passion is to think about different experiences in and different education systems, how they compare to each other, what works there and what doesn't work here, and it's the comparative education passion that I have. And I'm currently working as the head of learning, research, and development with Mirai Partners. The Mirai Partners is the executing partner of HP to deliver the HP IDEA program. Where I'm going, as I always say, it's the it's the journey, not the destination, that matters. So I'm really excited to be having this opportunity with the teachers from the prestigious Ma'arif schools, and I'm sure we will have a very nice journey together, and you will gain a lot out of what we have been preparing and what we have been excelling in so far across the last across the 18 cohorts that we have been delivering. So really happy and excited to be starting this this program with you. And now please allow me or Mansoura to Ms. Mansoura to introduce herself to you.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and Assalamu alaikum. So yes, I'm Mansoura, very pleased to be here. Who am I? I'm a mum and an educator, and I think people who know me know that I love to meet in coffee shops. I'm a coffee shop enthusiast. I love to look at different places because I feel that that's where ideas are connecting, people are connecting with a bit of caffeine. So yeah. I have worked as an education consultant for a while across different continents with both public and private schools and different governments, both in the UK and Africa and in the Middle East now. So that's brilliant. So I've had a heavy focus on inspections and quality assurance. And I should add there that early years as well is a passion of mine, as well as teacher training. So where am I now? I believe I'm right where I'm supposed to be, which is, working with teachers, collaborating with teachers, doing teacher training. This is what I love. So definitely still loyal to education while studying for my doctorate in educational psychology. So yeah, where am I going? Who knows? But I hope wherever I'm destined to be, it will still be in education.
Thank you, Ms. Mansoura, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much. Okay, so this is your time now to introduce yourselves. We're going to introduce to you one of the digital tools that you will find at different stops throughout the program. We rely a lot on Menti. And I'm sure many of you might have already come across Menti before. So we would like to know more about you as well, but this is going to be in a digital format. So I'm going to share with you a link on the chat. Please access this link and feel free to introduce yourself by answering the questions that you see, or you also may wish to add more information and more details. Please let me know if you have any issues accessing this website. I'm sure it's quite straightforward. Ahlan wa sahlan, Ms. Hajar, Islamic teacher. Mr. Khalil, you teach English. Just let me remind you of the questions. Like these are 3 prompts that we would like you to look at, and you might wish to answer these questions that you can see. Who are you? What subject you teach? What is your long-term goal in life? I'm pretty much interested in knowing about your long-term goals. Mr. Wasim, hello, Mr. Wasim. Long-term goal is to stay within the education system within KSA and do my part to improve the education system. That's wonderful. My name is Shakil Arshid Khan. I teach physics. Great. We have Mr. Hani as well. Teacher learning and teaching new generations. Miss Mariam Nassar teaches English. We have a variety of school subjects, Mansoura. Mr. Muhammad, teaching biology and chemistry, and Ms. Sarah, teaching physics. Ms. Sarah's long-term goal in life is to make a positive change in the world and pass on valuable knowledge, morals, ethics to our future generations. Thank you. Mr. Rafai Zayamir, educator, teach physics, maths, and computer. Ms. Faiza, thank you so much. This is very responsive. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ms. Mansoura and I will make sure that we have sufficient time in order to get to know you more by going through your inputs here, and I'm sure we will get to know each other very well during our journey with the HP IDEA program. Thank you. Julian, Dalal, Tasneem, thank you so much. Mr. Samah. Great.
I was just reading, one of the teachers says that their long-term goal is to simplify things, make a difference in the lives of many students as possible. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, actually, lots of like implied messages coming from the responses here that there is a passion to make a change, and this is the core aspect of the HP IDEA program. Making a change is one whole face, Mansoura, in the program. And Mr. Ibrahim, thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. Mr. Ibrahim teaches Arabic. Great. Thank you so much for that. Please feel free to keep introducing yourself by this link.
There is an opportunity to save this, right? Because this is really
yeah, it's already there.
Yeah, awesome.
It's already there. I mean,
like
and in order
profile.
for you, exactly, yeah. So I'm not sure if I share with you all the link to the entire responses. Will you be able to access it so that everyone in the session knows about each other? So you have this, Mansoura, can you confirm if this is like viewable to everyone?
Sure. Let's have a look.
Mr. Muhammad Imran. Stream. Welcome everyone. Mr. Ashraf.
Yes, it is.
Great. Okay. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction and for the high response rate from everyone. So I received a message on the chat saying that you have to sign up to access. Yes, I think if you create an account on Zoom, you will be able to view it. Your personal account. If you have an account already on Mentimeter, then you will be able to access it. And it's good actually that you have this account, because using Mentimeter is really good in teaching to gather quick insights about something that you would like to know about student learning. Okay, Ms. Mansoura, would you like to take that?
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, guys, for introducing yourselves. I really look forward to getting to know each and every one of you, and also the response rate. It's very important, that interaction that we're having. So your feedback is looking good so far. So one important logistics about this program is that you all need to have your Zoom accounts renamed to you personally and your school, because a lot of the times we'll be putting you into breakout rooms, into your own groups, and what makes life easier is if you guys can rename yourselves as to your official name and your school. So the way to do it, the instructions are here on the screen. If you go to participants, and we can do that now together, please.
Yes.
So please go on to the participants down below on your screen. And then there should be an option at the top that you can ask, you can mute yourselves or you can rename yourself. So type in rename. And finally add in your name and hyphen the name of your school. Okay, we've had people called Galaxy 7, and I would rather refer to you by your actual name than the name of the device that you're using. So yes. So your name hyphen school name. Thank you, Mr. Patel. If you're struggling to do that, perhaps put your hand up, and we can find a way to help you there. But yeah, do that now. And every time we have a session, we hope that that's, we need that format, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
So.
And it's really important because once we get the official registrations, the school registrations, there will be different opportunities when we're doing the innovation sessions, the weekly sessions that we will be conducting with you. We will be grouping you by schools so that you engage in discussions about an aspect of the program. So it's really important that we know where you are, your name and where you are from.
Thank you, Mr. Shahib. He's done that. Perfect.
Thank
and
you so
actually, may also add that we take attendance. Obviously, your attendance is part of the metric which we use to graduate you. So if we can't see your name, of course, we use Zoom to help verify the attendance. If we can't see your name, then you might be mistakenly added as absent.
Right.
So another point to remember, this is very crucial.
Yeah, that's really important. Yeah.
Mr. Fatah, I just want to confirm. So I was told that my voice wasn't very clear, wasn't very audible in the beginning. I've put my headphones in now. Is it better? Am I clear?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Good,
yes.
good, good.
It's actually the same, so it's been clear since.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
It's perfect now, Mansoura.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.
Okay, Mr. Mahmoud Assar, can you please apply this change, your school name into your name, your actual name on Zoom. So if you can add to your name Green Hills International School or GHIS next to your name, this will be great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Khalil, just done it. Mr. Hani, well, actually, the majority of us have done it already.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we're gonna move on, and we're gonna remind you of doing this at different times. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the messages on the chat. Okay. Okay, now we're going to introduce you to the conference one goals and the program structure. These are the goals for today. Identify the HP IDEA program structure. What is this program? What are the phases in this program? What are the main stops that highlight your journey during the program? explore the nature of innovation in the context of HP idea, because we always hear the word innovation, and the overall understanding of what innovation is to come up with something new. However, when we're thinking about innovation from the perspective of the HP idea program, things become a little more complex, and we need to work on analyzing this and understanding this from a different perspective and in a different way. So, and the third objective for today is to link the teaching and learning innovations to the high leverage teaching practices. The high leverage teaching practices, we said, the 19 high leverage teaching practices from the University of Michigan, and what we will be doing in the program, what the innovations that we will be adopting will be relying, how this is going to rely on the high leverage teaching practices, so that everything that we're doing should be deeply grounded in the pedagogy literature. Okay, so just a quick overview of what this program is about. As we said, the HP idea is the HP Innovation and Digital Education Academy, and this program has started or came to light in response to the challenges that the teachers have been facing since the COVID-19 pandemic has started, and there have been aspirations that we would like to enable teachers to think differently about technology, and to think or to understand that technology is not an objective by itself, but it's a means to do something, to achieve something. So this program has two forms. You participating in this program, you will be hearing this term a lot, which is the fellows. So you are fellows, you are the HP idea fellows. And in each school, there will be a number of fellows, approximately 10 fellows in each school. And these 10 fellows will have a lead fellow or a team leader, but we call them the lead fellow. And this lead fellow is going to be responsible for different things we will be talking about shortly. So you are going to be the fellows, but there are also HP idea associates. And those associates, and we're going to come to this in phase 3 of the program more specifically, because when you work on your innovations and get your innovations tested and with proven impact, then you as fellows will train other teachers to use your innovation and to scale it and sustain it. So those teachers who are going to be trained are called associates, the HP idea associates. We're not coming to this now. We need to focus on you as fellows, and we will be focusing on the associates when it's time for that. But you are the HP idea fellows, and there will be a lead fellow in each school who will be managing different program related work. So by the end of this program, the fellows and the associates will be recognized. The fellows will be recognized as successfully completing this program, and they will be recognized as the HP idea fellows. They will receive certificates of recognition. They will receive badges from HP, and the school itself will be recognized as HP idea school by installing HP idea plaques in the school premises. And the HP idea associates who will be trained by you will also be recognized. But you as fellows are the core members of the program. We are thinking very positively at you because you are teachers. This is number one. And number two, because you are from Ma'arif. And I personally know Ma'arif. So I used to work in GEMS education for 5 years. And I know how things are like in Ma'arif, and how keen the teachers are in the 11 schools. So by the end of this program, you will be recognized as HP IDEA fellows, and yeah, and the associates as well will be recognized. Okay, in terms of the program structure, as you can see here, this is the chart that we normally use to explain the structure of the program. There are 4 conferences in the program. There's conference 1, conference 2, conference 3, and conference 4. We are now at conference 1, and conference 1 is run in 2 days, day 1 and day 2. And conference 1 is the beginning of phase 1 of the program. So between conference 1 and conference 2, there is phase 1. Between conference 2 and conference 3, there is phase 2. And between conference 3 and conference 4, there is phase 3. Your assessment in the program will be dependent on what you are going to present in conference 2, 3, and 4. Conference 1, you do no presentation because it's introduction to the program and getting you to learn more about the program. But in each conference, as of conference 2, you will be required to do a presentation in a specific manner, depending on the work that you have done throughout the phase. So between each two conferences, there is a number of what we call innovation sessions. And these innovation sessions are weekly innovation sessions. So there are 6 innovation sessions in phase 1 here, and 5 innovation sessions in phase 2, and another 5 innovation sessions in phase 3. Throughout this program, there are 2 important terminologies that we will be repeating all the time. These are the teaching for understanding, the leading learning that matters, the creating communities of innovation. These are the theoretical underpinnings of the HP IDEA program. And at the heart of this, there is the high level teaching practices on which you're going to base your innovations that you'll be working on the high level teaching practices. The in-school application is what you're going to be doing, you and your team, the fellows in your school, in order to work on your innovation. And there are weekly innovation sessions and document submissions. So by the end of each innovation session or weekly innovation session, there is a task that you will be required to submit on a specific platform that we have dedicated for your assignment submissions. So this is the program in a nutshell. And in terms of what we expect from you, or the overall expectations for you in the program, is that we are looking forward to see a team of 10 people from each school. This is actually how we received your details. So there has been an agreement that there will be around 10 teachers from each school, and this team is called they create what we call, as part of the HP IDEA program, the community of innovation. We're expecting you all to join the online conferences. So online conferences are a must. Attendance must be 100% for these conferences. Join the weekly innovation sessions, same as the conferences. Timely submission of required tasks in a collaborative manner with fellow colleagues. So this is really important, because as individual participant in the program, you're not required to submit a task on your own. But the task that is required to be submitted is a collective work, a collaborative outcome of your work with your fellow colleagues in the school on the sessions and on the tasks that are found in the sessions. The regular access to the SIC platform. The SIC platform is the School Improvement Coach platform. This is our official platform that you will be using in order to access the program resources and to submit the tasks assigned to you. As we said, by the end of the program, the HP IDEA fellows will receive the HP IDEA fellowship certificates and the badges. upon successful completion of the program. Okay, program phases and assessment. What are these phases? As we said, okay, I would like to ask you a question, and you please reply on the chat. So how many conferences are there in the HP IDEA program? Four. Yes. Thank you. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so how many phases do we have? Great, 3. Oh, I saw 4. 6. Okay, so there are 3 phases. Thank you so much for that. 3. Thank you, Ms. Zahra. Great. Okay, so Ms. Mansoura is going to take you for a journey about the program phases in detail and how you are going to be assessed accordingly.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I love that little quiz, that little pop quiz. It's a good one.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, here I'm sure, let's just make sure my screen is okay. So as you can see, this is like a roadmap, giving you an overview of the phase 1 of the program. We'll go into the next slide because then that will be a lot more
right. Yeah, so I just would like to mention here that this is the Creating Communities of Innovation. This concept is driven from the Project Zero from the Harvard Graduate School of Education. So this is the work of Harvard's Graduate School of Education. What you can see, this map about how they think innovation needs to be started and tested and scaled, and upon which the HP IDEA program is designed in light of the underlying principles of the Creating Communities of Innovation from Project Zero at the Harvard Graduate School of Education.
Lovely, thank you. So for week 1 of, so between the phases, what we didn't tell you is that there's 6 weeks, usually about 6 sessions between each phase. Okay, so for week 1, which is not next week, because this is day 1 of the conference, next week is day 2, but for the following week, we're going to start our first week of our innovation. Okay, and that we're going to, in that session, we're going to focus on engaging inquiry in documentation. So we're going to start looking at what kind of inquiry would we like to address? What innovation? What questions do we have? And we're going to look at what documents we can collect in order to justify our inquiry. Okay. Week 2, we're going to look at interview skills. And week 3, we're looking at student work. And then week 4, we'll look at the slow looking. Slow looking is a concept that we use in design thinking. Slow looking from hunch, okay, from what you feel to innovation. And then we're going to look at design and practice, MVP. I'm not sure if anybody knows what that stands for yet, but it stands for minimum viable product. Okay, so we'll ask you about that later. And week 5, design for impact and preparation for conference 2. So again, this phase, the first phase of the program is preparation. It's preparing for your innovation, designing your innovation. Okay, on the second slide, on the next slide, you'll see that we have a rubric. As educators, we know that we measure progress by assessing your work. So we'll be sharing this rubric with you as to what it is we're looking for in your when you present for each phase. So the expectations will be listed. There's about 5 of them, and we just want to see that you have included all these elements in your presentation and therefore had a successful first phase.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the next. So again, we've got from week 7 to 11. This phase is about testing your innovation. Okay, so you do exciting things. You look for what your indicators of impact is. You look at your strategic data sample. You look at how you can turn your theory and fine tune that, your theory of action. Who are your spheres of influence? Okay, and your process map. And then we're going to look at applying your indicators of impact. And again, you can see there's a rubric that we have to assess your completion of phase 2. And then we have phase 3, which is all about scaling your innovation. The components of phase 3 will be people, parts, and interactions. Again, these are terminologies that we have, that we're deriving from Project Zero, from Michigan State University. So it's all research. What are the people, parts, and interactions in your innovation? How can we focus your observation even more? What about resistance to change? If you meet change, because at this point, you guys have tested your innovation. Now you're going to scale it, and you scale it by training your associates, training the teachers in your community. But change isn't always so easy. It doesn't happen at a switch of a button. You might face resistance. So we're going to talk about that. What does that resistance is, and how we can coach you guys out of it. So we're going to write and validate our vignette, and then prepare to present for conference 4. So this is the last phase of the program before the graduation. Okay. Right, and there again we have your rubric. But for now, we will take you to have a closer look at the first phase. Okay, so the first phase of our program will be identifying your area of focus. What is it that you guys feel you need to innovate in your school? What change would you like to see? What innovations would you like to see? And then what student work and documentation? When we gather that, what does that tell us about the innovation that we proposed? What do the interviews tell us about the innovations that we've proposed? What about our slow looking? So all this groundwork will inform the innovation that we want. Do we need to tweak it? Is that the reality of what we see? What insights has it given us? Okay, and at the end, you will ask yourself, what aspect would you like to change after you've gathered these insights? And then the second part of phase 1 will be designing your prototype. So you're going to examine the teaching practices that we've looked at, that we'll be looking at in this conference. So look at the teaching practices and think about how you can induce change in the area of inquiry that you've chosen, in line with the teaching practices that have been identified by Harvard University and Michigan State. And what digital tools will you be using to support your innovation, okay, and facilitate this? And then testing it, all right? So that is what phase 1 is going to focus on. Over to you, Mr. Abdel-Fattah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for this comprehensive overview, Ms. Mansoura. Really fantastic. And the reason why we have prepared this slide for you to learn more about phase 1, because phase 1 is the one that's going to start immediately this academic year. So the plan for this year, this is actually, it's not something that we have on a slide here, but this is just for you to know, because it's really important that you know that. Okay, so for this academic year, we are meeting together for 4 times. Conference 1, day 1. Let me show it to you here. Okay, so we are here now. Conference 1, day 1. Next Saturday, we're going to have another day, day 2 of the program, day 2 of Conference 1, on Saturday, the 21st of May, at the same time. And then the Thursday after, on the 26th of May, we're going to have our first innovation session. So as you can see here, this is the journey that Ms. Mansoura has taken you through. Session 1, the first weekly session that we are going to have, is going to take place on Thursday, the 26th of May, from 4 to 5. So each innovation session is 1 hour. And we're going to have session 2, that's going to be Thursday, the 2nd of June. We have agreed on these times and dates because we understand that we are by the end of this academic year and things might not be going very smooth given that examinations is going to start very soon and so on. So we've agreed that we do the first 4 meetings with us on these dates and these days, and then we will be flexible to change the dates and the times for the next academic year based on the academic calendar that will be announced by the MOE in KSA. So this is what I would like you to know, because it's really important that you know where when we are going to stop and when we are going to resume. So we're going to stop the sessions on Thursday, the 2nd of June, and we're going to resume based on the academic calendar for next year, for 2022-2023. And we will be, because we're going to pause for the summer holiday. So I hope this is clear. Back to the presentation. I just would like to stop here for questions, because we're going to enter a technical part. So let's just finish this overall logistics, talk about the logistics. If you have any questions, please share on the chat or feel free to unmute and speak. Do you have any questions? I think someone was getting ready to ask a question. I heard that in the background. So if you have any questions about what we have highlighted here, I'm still not sure as to exactly what the innovations are. Yes, exactly. So this is what we're going to introduce. It's good that you're asking this question at the right time. Okay, so think about the program structure and the components of the program in general, and leave the part about the innovation, because this is what we're going to introduce shortly. Can we have the materials of this course? Yes, we mentioned that there is a platform called the School Improvement Coach. This is the official platform for the program, and next week, inshallah, you will have access. You will have your school access to this platform. On this platform, you will have access to the recordings of this session, of all the sessions, as well as the material, the presentation, and any supporting materials, and also the tasks that will be that you will be required to submit. Yes. Will we be elevated as a school team or individually? As a school team. One word.
There is an opportunity, though, for people to become senior fellows.
Yes.
And those people who we felt really stood out in the program will be a senior fellow, where they will be coaching other schools and fellows across the continent. So yes, we are looking for those shining stars, but of course, you know, we're a community, so your school community will be evaluated as a whole. Thank you for your question.
السلام عليكم مستر عبد الفتاح. Hi Mansoura.
وعليكم السلام. أهلا أستاذة مريم، كيف الحال؟
My name is Mariam Nassar. I'm from Manarat Riyadh. I just wanted to ask you that if I understood it clearly, that we have 4 sessions before summer vacation.
Yes.
Do we have any work to submit by then?
Yes, two tasks that you will be required to submit. The submission of tasks start as of session 1. In each session, there is a task that you have to submit.
Yes. You will tell us this task during the session.
Of course. And you're going to have a file that has all the session tasks. So everything is made up for you.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have quite a number of questions here. The tasks will be submitted as a team on the platform, right? Right. Okay. Okay. Is this? Yes. I just want to go back to the question about the team or individually. Okay. So the tasks, the assignments, the group work, the presentations, everything that you do as part of the program requirements is collaborative. So I don't want to say it's like a team-based work, but it's your individual spirit that makes a difference to the team. So that's something that we need to take into account. And there will also be a team leader who will be working with you in a collaboratively in order to make sure that things are in place and the tasks are submitted with a good quality. But I'll tell you something that's really important. The tasks are very important, and the folders for the tasks and the assignments has to be complete on the system. But what we care about most is the quality of what you're doing, is your understanding of the program. Do you understand what the program is about? Does it relate to your experience? Do you feel you're belonging to what you're doing? This is the most important thing that we are emphasizing as part of your participation in this program.
Yes, and your passion.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
like you said, you know, do you feel like you belong? We want to hear your passion because that fuels us as well. So please bring your passion, please bring your experience, your expertise. You know, we learn from each other. We're really excited to see and hear about, you know, what you're passionate about.
Yeah, and what's really important actually to mention is the coaching sessions that we deliver, apart from the official sessions that we have for the program, the formal sessions that we have. So whenever you feel you're stuck, you're facing some challenges, you need to learn more about something, please feel free to reach out to Mansoura and I in order to dedicate an individual coaching session for your school specifically. So we will be always there for you in order to make sure that you're enjoying the experience that you're having with us in the HP Idea program. So back to the questions. I'm still, okay, is there a question before this? Okay. Will we be evaluated as a school team or individually? Yes, we answer this. Is it just in English only? So the program is delivered in Arabic and in English. This version that we're doing now, it's the English version. If there is an option that we do this in, if there's an opportunity that we do this for the Arabic and Islamic teachers in Ma'arif, we can have this like as a different conversation with the leaders in Ma'arif. Okay, so please mute others. Okay, that's another question. There is no Arabic version. Yes, we answered this. The tasks will be submitted as a team on the platform, right? Do we have a session in Arabic separately for Arabic teachers? Yes, we have answered this question. So this program is delivered in Arabic, and it can also be delivered in English, but it will be separate from this one. Where can we ask questions, if any? I mean, apart from the online sessions. Okay, that's a good question. Once we send you the online registration form, we're going to send it to the lead fellows, and they will need to fill in the details of the fellows in the school. We will get the WhatsApp numbers. This is a mandatory requirement in the form. We get these WhatsApp numbers and we create a WhatsApp group for the participating fellows, and we also create another WhatsApp group for the lead fellows to discuss things that belong to the lead fellows themselves. So and also there is email. We will be messaging you via email and via WhatsApp. So there will be different methods of communication that you can reach out to us. So this is not going to be an issue at all. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum.
Task assigned will be submitted individually. We said that, yeah, it's going to be submitted as a school based on the individual inputs. I hope the training will not affect our academic as it's end of year. Yes, this is what we planned for. We're going to stop at a certain time and at a certain date, and then we're going to pause for the summer break and for the exams, and then we're going to resume early next academic year. Is the assessment going to be submitted in the platform? Yes. Which areas of education innovations we will be focusing on? This is your choice, and we will be supporting you to do this. remember that one of the main characteristics of this program is that you are the creators of the content of the program. And we are the facilitators of how you work systematically and scientifically with this content that you create. By providing you with the tools and the and everything that helps you think about the problems that you might be facing in your school. Okay, which areas the innovations will be based on the needs of your school? Yes, we're going to come to this. Good. So I think there was a question. Anyone has a question that you would like to ask verbally? I think someone was trying to speak.
Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, it's me, Shakir. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, my question is during our this sessions, will we need to work on the previous experience, or will we need some classes to apply the skills and get the results and put it in our preparation for this phase or sessions?
That's a great question. I think. Would you like to take that, Mansoura?
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I understood your question correctly, you're asking if you need to be currently in a classroom or can you use your prior experience, right? That's another way to put it. Did I get your question correct? Okay, so that's what I understood. If, again, and correct me if I'm wrong, if I've not understood your question. So yes, you do need to be in a current classroom climate or opportunity. You need to be in an environment where you have an opportunity to implement your innovation. So it is important that you could be a school leader, that's absolutely fine. You could be a class teacher, but you need to have access to the community that you're innovating for. And that can be students, it can be teachers, it can be parents, anyone in the educational community.
Right.
We won't be using previous experience. Of course, that informs your current knowledge, but we need to work presently and forward.
Yeah, that's right. And the reason why I brought back the phase one, designing your innovation. So if you look at the sessions here, let's say that you have an area that you would like to explore in your context, an area of student learning. Let's say what the collaboration problems that you have among students, or behavior issues, student behavior issues, for example. So this is an area that requires you to be in the school, having access to children, having an opportunity to speak with them, speak with the teachers about this issue. And if you look at the titles of the sessions here, and let's say that you have your student behavior issues, this is what you would like to explore. So the sessions, if this is your area of innovation, or this is your area of focus, as we call it formally, in week one, engaging in inquiry and documentation. So you will look at the documents that you're having in your school. What does it say about this area of focus that you're having? You will look at parts of your lesson. What is actually happening in light of student misbehavior, for example. So how can documentation give you an idea of what this area of focus is really like? And then you do interviews. You might wish to interview teachers or interview students to understand more about this issue. Looking at student work. So student work in their in the classroom, when they engage in activities, is there an evidence or is there an aspect that shows that their behavior is affecting the outcomes, the learning outcomes? For example, slow looking. This is the observations that you will be doing it in a specific manner. So you're gonna be doing the slow looking observation. You're gonna observe like snapshots of lesson to look for specific aspects about student behavior. And then after you have done all this, you will be ready to shape an initial form of what your innovation is. We're gonna get back to this, but since you mentioned it on the chat, it's worth highlighting before we get into detail. Okay, so there's another question here: who's going to decide, team lead or you people? Okay, so the team, the lead fellows. Okay, so they are called lead fellows. Let's just agree that this is going to be the name given. So the lead fellows have already been assigned by the senior leadership at Ma'arif. So we'll be communicating with the lead fellows after this conference. We're going to provide them with the online form to register the teachers in their schools. And we're going to create like a WhatsApp group for the lead fellows immediately. Okay, so good. Another question. This question I received via the direct message to me, so it's not shown on the public chat. Ideas will be treated as teamwork. It means individual will not get the benefit of that. Okay, so this is actually it's a research problem. So let's say that it's a research problem. So some people like to work individually, but the core of this program is to create community of innovation, and creating community of innovation requires people to work together on a shared problem or a shared challenge in order to find ways to overcome this this challenge. So this is the essence of being here in the program. You might have not tried this before, but we are sure that doing this with us will mean something different for you. So an innovation can be, this is a question, an innovation can be created according to different classroom environments. It depends on your context. So you will have the chance and the opportunity as part of the innovation sessions that we will be having, and actually as part of this conference, day one and day two, to think about an area that constitutes a real challenge for you in the school. So it's your call to decide on. If you don't want to think about, if you don't want to consider a teaching and learning area, you might consider a leadership area. You might consider an extracurricular aspect of the school. You might consider something that has to do any problem. But we think we're thinking that if you focus on the teaching and learning, this will be something easy to capture, unless you have a passion towards another aspect of the school life, and this is fine as well. So it's only yours. And in the next few slides, we're going to introduce you to some ideas that will be beneficial for you, that can shape an initial idea of what innovation is, in view of the HP Idea program. Okay, so an innovation can be created according to different classroom environments. How many types of innovations? I think I didn't get this question. Types of innovations. Okay, the types of innovation that I know, the 4 quadrants of innovation, if you know that, Mansoura. We're going to introduce this next week, the different types of innovation.
I understood this question possibly, and maybe they can correct us, like how many innovations will they be conducting in their school? And we advise to limit it to no more than 3. So like on average, we get 2 innovations.
No, you're on mute, Mansoura. I think we lost your voice, Mansoura.
And how ambitious you are. But we try to limit it to no more than 3. So 2 is fine, and you can just stick with 1 as well.
Well, I think you're referring to the innovation projects within.
Yeah, the projects. Yeah.
Okay, so that's something that we're gonna come to later. Yes. Okay. So I think they mean. I mean, do we have to work on different areas of focus? This is what I think. This is what he means, Mr. Suhaib. I think this is what you mean, Mr. Suhaib. Do you think that is your question? How many? Wa alaikum assalam. تفضل.
Mr. Suhaib from Manara Jeddah.
أهلا وسهلا.
My question was, Mr. Abdul Fattah, like innovations, okay, fine. As Ms. Mansoura said that you can choose limited to 3. So what are these innovations actually? Like, if any topics to be done, or is it like something you have already defined few innovations, 10, 2, 3, you have to choose from it, or how it goes on? And one more thing is, when phase 1 and phase 2 it's going on, so it will be in those 2 weeks it's only documentation, or we have to blend something, your technical things into our class? Because the question is already on the screen that we're already using digital platform in our school. So we use so many digital things in our school. So how to blend these things with your HP?
That's a great question. And this is why we're dedicating the next few slides for the answers to this. But I would say, like, in general, innovation means, in its simplest form, intervention. What kind of intervention that you can make in order to correct something that's happening in the school and to make it go to a different direction that you are aspiring.
Who will analyze this? Who will analyze this, and what the problems are going on in the school? Will you be send someone to look at, because every school has a different environment to work on, isn't it?
Right.
So
right.
how do you classify this? How do you analyze these things? And what type of innovation should we choose, as we are new to these things?
Do you know, I really love the question. All of your questions are really, really good. And I think everything will be clear to you throughout the program. So it's lots of jigsaw puzzles. By the end of it, you'll be like, aha, and you'll be able to connect the dots. So yeah, who will analyze this? Basically, there is a concept that we call indicators of impact. So we will measure your innovation based on your own rubric, your own assessment, as to how successful it is. So, I mean, there are many components, believe me. This program, as you know, we've been doing it for 18 cohorts. But yeah, throughout, you will see that it will start to slowly make sense. So don't be overwhelmed just yet. I feel that you're really thinking ahead. But I can assure you that you will enjoy the process, and just trust the process as well.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and speaking of the analysis, who will be analyzing this? It's you and your team.
Yeah.
You and your team in the school will be analyzing this, because we're heavily dependent on you as being autonomous teachers, autonomous researchers, and autonomous innovators. So this is our perspective of what you are. And if you look here at phase 1, for example, this is the kind of analysis that you will be doing. So if you have an idea, you will be performing different processes and procedure in order to understand it better. How you're going to understand it better, this is our call. This is how we are going to support you doing this, based on the work of the Harvard School of Graduate the Harvard Graduate School of Education, the Project Zero. So back to the questions here. If how many types of innovation? One innovation per team? Yes, it's one innovation per team. One area of focus, one challenge, one problem, something that inspires you, something that gets you curious, that you would like to work on. And we're gonna make sure that this is going to be very systematic and very scientific as we go. I have a question, please, Ms. Riham. Can you please? Would you like to say
yes,
it
hello.
here verbally? Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon. I have a question, please, regarding to the course. Like, when the question comes to create for yourself, like to self-improvement. Okay, let's talk about self-improvement. How this program will like change my improvement or my self-improvement? How it's gonna change on my career and everything? I would like just to like know more about the program.
That's a really good question.
Thank you.
And if you ask me personally about what I get as a mentor in this program, what I get that's helping me thinking differently about what I used to be thinking about before, I would say it's how to think about teaching and learning from a more concrete perspective, rather than thinking of it as it's something holistic and can be done by anyone. But how we think about teaching and learning and education from a procedural way, as well as thinking about us as teachers, how we can become designers of interventions that can make a change. So by the end of this program, we are hoping that this program equip the fellows with the necessary skills needed to understand how students think, to apply the design thinking principles in order to overcome the challenges they are having, to know about the systematic process of researching a problem and understand or analyzing a specific situation. You will learn about data collection and how can data tell you things that might not be visible to you, and what kind of actions you can be taken in order to correct this, and so on. So it's different things, but the most important thing that we are aspiring the fellows in this program to learn is that they acquire the principles and the skills of design thinking. That's one of the most important things, and how you apply the concept of design to help you overcome the problems and challenges that you have in your career. So that's something that we really focus on. And these questions are very, very important that you're asking now. And this is why actually I decided to pause and get your questions before we get to the next part. We were planning for questions to receive by the end of this session, but it's better that we have the questions at this part, so that we clear any kind of misunderstanding that you might be having, so that you start thinking about innovation the way we would like you to think about. Okay, so I have a question.
Can I speak?
Sure.
Okay. Why it's number one? Why it's related to HP? This is I need to know. Okay. Number two, does all the teachers from one school are a team, or it's according to the subject, or I can choose any area? Okay, this is my second question, and thank you. I'm Ahmed Rifai from Green Hills.
Yeah, why HP? Okay, that's a good question. Okay, this is part of the social responsibility that HP has on not only to be manufacturers of technology, but to be enablers of those who are using the technology to be using it the right way. As I said earlier, technology is not a goal by itself, and it has been seen by so many education institutions that if you have lots of amazing digital tools in your technological infrastructure, this means that you are advancing and you are excelling in education. But it's about the way that you're using digitals is what matters. So this is a social responsibility on HP as a company manufacturing technology, but they think of their social responsibility and their social role that they play to enable the teachers to use the technology in a proper manner.
That's great. So they are looking for a vision, is it right?
For a vision?
Yeah. Is it right?
What do you mean?
I think, what does it mean? It means that they are looking for the future, because it's sociable, and it's. I think they are thinking now about the good life. Is it right?
Yes, this is right. This is right. Yeah. So it's an enabling and empowering program that is aspiring to make a change in education systems across different parts of the world. Thank you so much. And the other part of the question, would you like to remind me of it, please?
Yes, that all the teachers from one school are a team, or we can divide the teachers on the same school. I don't know.
Okay, so you in the team, in your school team, you can be teachers from different subjects. So it's not a problem at all, because you will be working on generic pedagogical aspects of teaching and learning. We will be discussing this. And actually, I'm really happy that all these questions has risen now, Mansoura, because if you're if you're thinking about something and you're waiting for answers to it, and we have the answer prepared for you, this makes learning more relevant and more efficient.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's someone else is raising hand.
Yes, I have a question. I'm Saman Burr from Manarat Sharqi International Girls. There is no limit to innovations, and I need to know specifically in which areas are you going to support us? Like, do we need to just focus on innovations related to classroom practices and or like pedagogy, or can HP support us in more wider and emerging areas such as use of data in education and tech-driven innovations such as digital libraries and assistive technologies? So
yes, that's a good question. So as I said, we're emphasizing the teaching and learning aspects, but if you see as a school team or as fellows participating in this program that there are aspects that extend beyond the classroom and you would like to explore further and think about and apply the design thinking process and the other principles and the other like data management principles or leadership principles that you would like to explore, this is fine. So it's not restricted to what's going on in the classroom, but you may wish to extend it to a different areas based on your school needs and based on the agreement of the team working with you in the school. Okay, does this answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Why don't we save any questions to be asked later? Well, actually, thank you for saying this, but it's really important that we clarify everything before we get into the technical part that we are going to address very shortly today. But it's good. Yeah, I really like having questions at this point. All conferences are online, yes. So each week we'll have a task to submit. Well, technically, no. Tasks are going to be submitted as of session 1, and session 1 is going to be on the 2nd of June, as far as I recall. No, not the 2nd of June. It's going to be on the 26th of May. But conference 1, day 1 and day 2 is meant to get you prepared to think about what could be your innovation, what could be your area of inquiry, and how you will be working with it. So each week we'll have a task submit. Okay, answer this. We are already using the digital tools in Ma'arif. How you are integrate teachers? Yes, we're not asking you to design new tools. We're not asking you to come up to become developers. So we're expecting that we thinking of the use of tools from a different perspective, not and considering the high level teaching practices. This is what we're looking for. But it's not the tools. I mean, we can have so many tools, but how are you using these tools? Okay, and the submission of the task will be next week. You will have 1 week. So let's say there is a task for session 1 that you have to submit. By session 2, task 1 or session 1 task has to be submitted. So you will have a window of 1 week to submit your task. We're already okay, and the submissions of the task will be next week. Is there any digital portal or search engine introduced by HP to help learners to innovate? Okay, we will come across so many tools and so many organizers and thinking tools that will help you to excel in your innovation, and we will encounter some of what you're asking about. Do we have an example of where this has been tried and tested, and do we have feedback on this? Yes, you can revisit the project 0 of the Harvard Graduate School of Education, because this program has been is relying on the work that has been done. And in terms of this program has been tried and tested, this is the 18th cohort that we're running. We are a very wide team that ranges that is extended across different areas of the world, and the program is currently running with governments and this is running with private education sector as well. We're running Oman MOE schools. They are with us now. There is UAE schools. They are with us for the second cohort, and we're going to start the third cohort next year. So it's been done for so long with like around 500,000 students have been benefiting from this program so far. Do you have an example of where this has been? Okay, I believe Mike mentioned that it has been rolled out before, but could we have some actual feedback from fellows and associates from these examples? Yes, as we go, we can provide you with all this, and we are also keen to give you examples of what others have done before, so that this informs the way you think about the program and the way you work on it. Can we take a case in a school without mentioning the name and see how the school? Yes, we can do this. A simple practical example. Yes, this is in the course of the program. We make sure that we provide you with examples so that this informs what you're doing. I have raised my hand.
So my question is, as
too long to reach out to you.
Yeah, I thought I would sleep raising my hand.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. Okay, I have a question that, as you said before, that you require the quality work, and the quality work requires time, a proper time to be spent on that task. So my question is, because I'm concerned about how can we create a balance between our school related activities that we do at home and this training, because like every training I have come across, they come with a rubric of how many hours you must spend in a week to do the work properly. So my question is there any kind of rubric from your side that would help us, like at least you must spend this much hours in a week to do your task? I know this is a broad kind of training, but
yeah, I'll tell you something very important here. When it comes to the tasks and the maybe we have like exaggerated talking about the tasks and submissions, Mansoura, but the tasks is part of what you do in the session. So you work on something on the session and you complete it with your team. So the task can be like a generation of thoughts that you work with your team, and you refine these thoughts and you upload it to the school improvement coach. So the tasks themselves are not challenging. The tasks can be finished in like less than 1 hour if you are working collaboratively to finish it. So we're expecting, based on the experience, that you are going to spend like 2 hours a week working with the HP IDEA program, 1 hour joining the session and 1 hour, or maybe less than 1 hour, working with your team to complete part of the program. The thing that might take some more time working on is the presentation prior to each conference. This might take some time in order to do this, and some other areas that require data collection and so on. But overall, it's like 2 hours per week, or maybe 1 hour and a half that you spend as part of the HPIDA program. And remember, you're not working on your own, you're working with a team. So you are a team of like of around 10 fellows in each school, and this is quite enough to produce quality work in a shorter time frame. Okay, so is it going to be a pedagogical approach to the problems faced, or it's just taking the matter in class or technology? So that's a great question. Would you like to get that, Mansoura? Because it's really interesting.
Yeah, it is a nice question, actually. And I think I think the best way to answer is say both. So we definitely look at the pedagogies, and we look at how you integrate and use technology to support those pedagogies. So yeah, that would be my answer, Mr. Bukta.
Yeah, I mean, let's say, for example, people are using Kahoot in their classrooms, and so many teachers are like producing or posing lots of questions on the platform. But do these questions have a strong pedagogical foundation that supported the way they are put this way on the application or on Kahoot? So how pedagogy can enhance the use of technology, and how technology can enhance the use of pedagogy, this is what matters in the program. Thank you so much. it's been really great to have these questions answered, and I think you will have more questions, and we will be ready to answer more questions that you have. But I would like to introduce you to what innovation is. Okay, so Ms. Mansoura.
Sure. So innovation will mean different things to different people. And some people think it means, I think essentially it is trying something new for you. So it might not be new for a different school, but it's new for you, okay, in your context. Okay, now in the context of HP, and it's so conveniently put as HP Idea, Innovation in Digital Education Academy, this program will be defined as a unique, so it's unique to you, it's localized to you, and it's scalable teaching and learning practices. So we want to make sure that what you do, the innovation that you bring, is something that you can scale across in your school. It doesn't just sit with you. Okay, so these teaching practices, as we've said before, are grounded in a high leverage teaching practices and teaching for understanding. So these are two concepts that have been heavily researched by Harvard and Michigan State University as to what successful teaching and learning looks like. So we will make sure that our teaching practices and innovations are grounded upon these concepts. Okay, and the innovations will be developed and tested. Okay, so you will develop them, you're going to test them, and then you're going to scale them over the year. And that is exactly what will qualify you to be an HP Idea Fellow. Okay, so there are different areas. I mean, I think some people asked a couple of questions before as to what areas would we innovate on. So I think here are some examples of areas that you can think about, to innovate on. Mr. Abdel Fattah.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Mansoura. So when it comes to innovation now, we're talking about innovation from different perspectives here. So the components of innovation, there is something pedagogical that we use, something digital that we use, and something that we would like to change by using the innovation and the digital. So by combining innovation and the digital in a specific manner, in a systematic and scientific manner, to induce a specific change that we aspire to make in our schools. So if you look at the screen, you will find the areas that we're doing the teaching and learning in school in order to improve student skills in different areas, not only to improve their achievement, because we know that achievement cannot be attained unless students are equipped with the right skills in order to unpack the curriculum. And we're teaching our students not only to transfer knowledge to them, but to empower them with the skills that will help them become lifelong learners. And as you can see here, these are some areas of focus that we're working in schools, and almost all educational institutions across the world work on achieving these kind of areas. We need to develop critical thinking in students. We need to develop their independence. We need to develop their decision-making skills, the cultural awareness, the research skills, the creative thinking, and all these things. So these are some examples that you might wish to look at into your school. What kind of areas that my school can be in real need of developing? But just before we get to that, if you think about these areas that you can see, these are areas of focus that you might wish to explore and you have in mind. So you work with your team in exploring this further and understanding more about it in order to start thinking about it from an innovative or an innovation perspective. So what are other aspects of student learning that you think can be added to the ones that you see on the slide here? Okay, so this is scaffolding. Okay, so do you think scaffolding is an okay, differentiation, hots and lots, Learners' interests. Okay, I was waiting for learners' interest and okay, for learners' interest. If we're thinking about scaffolding, and let me ask you this question: who does the scaffolding? Who plans for it? Who plans for scaffolding? You can use the chat to answer this. It's the teacher. And differentiation, who plans for differentiation? It's the teacher. But when it comes to learners' interest, do we plan for learners' interest? So think about things here from the independent and dependent variable. Sorry?
Students' hobbies.
Student hobbies. Okay, what I'm trying to focus on now, you need to differentiate between or distinguish between what you do as a teacher and what you aspire to see in children or in students. So if you look at this, the slide here, critical thinking, we're doing scaffolding to develop critical thinking, or we're doing differentiation to develop motivation to learn. So there's something that you do in order to achieve something. And if you look at the slide here, these constitute an outcome that you're aspiring as a teacher to achieve in your students. So think about it this way. What are other areas that you think we are working as teachers in order to improve with our students?
I love that someone's put metacognition. I love that. Thinking about how you learn. That's very
thinking
good.
Yes, metacognition.
Yeah,
right.
Learning how to learn.
Critical thinking. Okay, so critical thinking is here already. Think about something else. What kind of skills that you would like to see your students doing? Tolerance of ambiguity. Okay, that's something that you aspire to see. Tolerance of how philosophical this is.
You're right.
Social service. Yes, social service skills, problem solving skills. Okay, what else? What else you would like to see in your students? Active learning, students being active and motivated in class. Okay. Communication skills, right? To be creators, to take ownership of learning, to be autonomous, to be in control of their learning, to be to have multicultural awareness and acceptance, to higher level of EQ.
Emotional intelligence, yeah.
Kinesthetic learners.
Independent students.
Independent and autonomous learners. Thank you. Higher or to develop higher order thinking skills. I think they must learn how to be innovators. Okay, that's another perspective. Thank you, Ms. Summer. Collaboration, being advocates for a purpose. How inspiring this one is. Thank you. To be innovative. Okay. Okay.
I wish we captured this in a Menti.
Okay. Oh yes.
Very lovely response.
Yes. Yeah. Inquiry-based learning. So do you think inquiry-based learning can go for the teacher side or the student side? Think about it this way. We do inquiry-based learning to develop what? To develop inquiry skills. So inquiry skills is what we target, and we do inquiry-based learning in order to target this. So this analysis needs to be clear at this point of the program, because it will affect so many things that we are doing in the future. Developing pioneers and leaders, developing leadership traits and leadership capabilities. To be leaders, we plan lessons based on inquiry-based learning approach. Good, thank you, Miss Dalia. But why? What's your objective? What's your outcome? What's your intended outcome by doing this? Explore themselves and find their weak and strong points. Okay, so to have self-awareness.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Miss Dalia.
Miss Massa, you have your hand up as well.
To enhance critical thinking ability, that's great. Mindfulness, yeah. To help students develop research skills, absolutely. Ms. Dalia, to help students develop research. Yes, exactly. So your intervention to develop research skills is the inquiry-based learning, and research skills is the outcome that you would like to see in your students. That's absolutely right. Yes, it's one of the 21st century skills. To make them independent learners, self-knowledge, that's great. That's great. And this is actually what we want at this point. Every student is intelligent, just need to explore their skills. True. To help students reach the higher levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, the key to all is self-discipline. Great. Okay, so self-discipline, explorer to be explored. Great. Okay. This takes us to the other point here, and this is Minty, Mansoura. So I think this is a really good brainstorming that takes us to this area. So since we have already listed all these areas that we would like to see our students excelling at. So since you have done this, think about your school, think about your context. What kind of areas of focus that you think your school is in real need to improve? Think about your classroom. You might not need to think about the school in general. Think about your classroom. I'm going to share with you a link that you're gonna access in order to write your responses. Please, this is a Mentimeter link. Please access it and answer the question that you can see here on the chat. What areas of focus you think your school is in real need to improve? What are some of the areas that you saw here and the areas that you posted on the chat?
Curriculum headroom. Yeah, that's a challenge. That's been like a lifelong challenge.
Yes, to develop independent learners. Motivation to learn, to increase motivation to learn. To foster learners' initiation. Discipline. How can we get students to have self-discipline?
School climate, that's a big one.
School climate. Okay, that's a big mission. Get ready for that.
This is mine.
Okay. I like the spirit. Pioneers and innovators.
Thank you.
Thinking. Okay, so Ms. Saman is asking this question: how can you support us in solving curriculum headroom? So I would say, how can you support yourself and your team to do this using the tools and the thinking routines that we will be providing to you? So it's how you think about the program, how you think about the problem. This is our role, Mansoura and I, and the HP Idea program.
Yeah.
So we're
so
hoping
we give you the tools and the framework to innovate and find solutions for yourself.
Yes.
But I really look forward to it. And also, I mean, we're a great community here of how many teachers. So I do look forward to having those discussions, but we don't give you the answers. But we do, you know, how we support you is by giving you the tools.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And ongoing support and guidance and coaching sessions and so on. And your team input as well. Okay, that's amazing. I'm really surprised that I'm seeing all these things that we aspire to see in our children to develop in our children. Lack of interest. So many schools, so many students might have a lack of interest. How can we overcome this? Great. Okay, so I'm really curious to ask a question on Surah, but I'm not sure. I know you're gonna kill me for that because I'm gonna be asking about something. It's just something like really important. Okay. So critical thinking, let's say for critical thinking or motivation to learn. Motivation to learn. So this is an outcome that we would like to see in our children or our students that we teach. So let me ask this question. What is it that if students do will be an indication that they are motivated to learn? What kind of actions or procedure or steps or like attitudes or things that if they happen, you will comfortably say that they are motivated to learn?
You're doing their assignment, they get the high marks in their exams, they get their quizzes.
Okay, doing their assignments, but can someone do the assignment while they are still not motivated? So what
and also it's related to their grades or their marks.
So just disregard the marks now. We don't want to talk. Okay, in the program we don't really prefer to talk about marks. We prefer to talk about skills more specifically.
Their increased desire to participate in class.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What else? They ask out of the box questions, maybe. What else? Asking questions and prepare for the next.
Loving what they're doing.
But okay, can you measure love?
Love to come to class.
Can you measure loving to come to class?
Participating.
Yes. Think about the things that are tangible that you can hold, that you can see and you can observe and make a judgment on. But you can't make a judgment on their loves.
How interactive the class is based its love for the class.
How attracted they are to the class.
Interactive the classes.
Okay, so
how they feel comfortable in the class.
How they feel comfortable. Okay, so what is it that if they do, it will mean that they are comfortable? So think about it this way.
Yes, when we realize that there is mutual understanding between the students in class, between their needs and the teacher's message. If they started to understand each other and everybody appreciate what the other is doing at this moment, we can understand that it's working.
Great. So the lesson learned here is that think about narrowing down every answer that you get about what it means for a skill to be undertaken or to be done by students. Critical thinking skills. Think about the tiny things that if students do, it will mean that they are thinking critically and so on. So rewarding and appreciating them. So that's what you do as a teacher. We need to, this is what you do as a teacher, not what you see on a student.
I would like to add something. Students are, you know that a student is motivated is when he come back to you, giving you answers about something that you haven't asked them to do.
Absolutely.
So if they do beyond their job, then they are motivated to learn.
Exactly. Yes. So so can you measure this? Can you decide on that one teacher has already so that students have already thought about something that was not mentioned? Can you measure this? Yes, I can measure it. Ali, yes, Ali, this student came to me or during class or during the activity, he asked this question and I have a sight of this question and it's tangible for me. So we need to think tangible because this is one of the most important things in this program is to think about things from a concrete perspective and rather than abstract. Think about, can I measure this? Always ask yourself, can I measure this? Being flexible, ask yourself, can I measure this? Having sense of relevance, can this be measured? Ask yourself. Like teacher and subject, how can you know? Maybe they say, yes, I love you. I like you, teacher, so much, but what's inside is inside. Okay.
But yeah, even the feedback and feedback from parents, even, you know. Very good.
Coming in the break to my classroom, can this be captured? Of course, yes. Reflections on lessons, yes. Thank you. Okay. Great. Going beyond the class, such as preparing PowerPoint presentation to deliver the class. Yes, showing initiation to do something different. Are we discussing intrinsic? That's another good question. Intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Okay, so when you think about motivation, you might think about actions that show intrinsic motivation and other actions show extrinsic motivation. What is it inside the children that happens in them within their thoughts and within their emotions that gets them motivated towards something? What is it that happens externally that gets them to increase their motivation? Yes. Okay, so this is the kind of the research mind that we are anticipating to have in the HP IDEA program. And thank you so much for your fruitful contribution on the chat. Okay, so this is the first step that we have. We're thinking backward, you know, the backward design for teaching. So we're thinking backward, starting from the outcome rather than starting from the innovation. We do innovation in order to do something about the areas that we are seeing here in front of you. I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Yes, okay, I'm going to share it via the WhatsApp group once we create it. And I'm going to also share it with you because it will inspire you to think about issues and challenges that you may be facing in your school, and you might wish to consider for your near future innovation. So you have the Mentimeter link. Please make sure that you make an account on create an account on Mentimeter so that you have access to this. Okay, good. Thank you so much. Okay, the high-level teaching practices. So we have 10 minutes. So I was actually talking to Ms. Mansoura, having a conversation with her prior to this session. And we usually dedicate the first session to answer as many questions as we can to clarify anything that is not clear. And I don't always, I mean, even if questions take most of the time, this is fine since we are in the beginning. So this is fine. Now, I think, Mansoura, what would you like us to do now? Okay, so there is the high-level teaching practice, the part talking about the interventions. How can we integrate pedagogy and digital in order to make a change in a student learning? So does this give you a clear idea of actually an initial idea? Let's not just say it's clear. An initial idea of what innovation will be like. We haven't touched innovation yet. We haven't got to innovation yet. But does this give you a glimpse of what you are up to in the next sessions? You can answer by chat, or you can speak out. Any questions?
Well, that's a good sign if there's no questions so far.
Well, that means, I mean, since we have all these questions over the last two hours, and now there are no questions, this makes me feel relieved. Unless we see some now being typed. Here we go. Thank you for the smile, Ms. Summer. Good.
Actually, you made everything clear. Thank
you.
you.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Seems clear. Thank you. Good. Okay, so I don't want to take much of your time, to be honest. It's now 10 minutes left for the 2 hours, and I wish we could have been able to cover the high-level teaching practices and how these teaching practices can be used with digitals in order to do something different in our schools. So, but we are going to dedicate this, I think, for next week. Yeah, we're going to do this together next week, and so we make sure that this is given the right amount of time and work with you in order to get it done in a proper manner. So okay, so the biggest challenge in integrating tech into learning are teachers themselves. That's a good one. That's
interesting reflection.
That's a good reflection. Yeah, but we're going to work on how to do things differently. So we assure you that this is going to happen. So if you have any questions, if you would like to say anything, Ms. Mansoura, any questions? There are no tasks, by the way. So I don't want you to fear tasks. Tasks are simple, things are fine. You're not going to spend a lot of time doing this. This is not going to take you from your family. It's not going to take you from the duties that you have and the responsibilities that you have. It's like you know, if you we sometimes we call the program slowing down to speed up. So we are at the slowing down phase. So things will happen at a very steady pace that will enable you to think and rethink and refine and revisualize and do all the re's in order to finish phase one confident of what you are going to do for phase two.
Sorry, are we going to have a certificate after the end of this course?
Yes. Yes,
okay.
The idea fellowship certificate.
Okay, are we going to be life coaches also or not?
You can be a senior fellow with us after you successfully graduate from the program, so you can play a similar role to the role Mansoura and I are playing.
Thank you.
Critical thinking, time management. What brought this to the conversation? Okay, critical thinking and time management. So what's this answer is for which question? Motivation to learn, what's that? I'm sorry,
maybe they're capturing the things that they've
okay,
reflected on.
yeah.
Mr. Sameh, would you like to elaborate on these points, perhaps? Okay, could we rearrange the time so it doesn't clash with Salah? That's important.
Okay, so I would say we have Saturday from 2 to 3, from 2 to 4. I mean, like arranging the time will be a challenge since we're going to have this as one more day on Saturday. So we're not going to have it from 2 to 4. For session 1 and session 2, it's going to be Thursdays from 3 to 4. So it's going to be 1 hour. So if you bear with us for this coming Saturday, and things will be fine, because rearranging the time will be a challenge, because what might suit some people might not suit others. Thank you, Mr. Wasim. Okay, Mr. Muhammad Imran, hope this journey will be interesting. It will be, I'm sure, inshallah. Could we rearrange the time? Okay, answer this. What's the overall duration of this program? When will it end? And how many innovations we have to submit per week? No, you're not submitting innovations per week. Mansoura, would you like to take that?
What was the question? Are we going to?
Yeah, what's the overall duration of this program?
Oh, well, we typically speaking, it takes the course of an academic year, but we will try to shorten that into about 8 months. Okay, yes. So yeah, about 8 months.
But this is excluding the summer holiday.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we're hoping to finish. Okay, so once we get the academic calendar for Saudi Arabia private schools, once this is announced, then we can work on finalizing this this table, and we will know by which date we will finalize the program. So usually this program takes 1 academic year. So it's 1 academic year, given the holidays and the term breaks and many things that happened in between. So we're going to take this into consideration once we have the academic calendar, and we take it from there. Thanks to all the teachers and the tech tools. Thank you, Mr. Sameh. What I have learned today. So is this a question?
No, I think he's reflecting on what he learned today, maybe.
Yeah, some messages intervened between the, okay. Yeah. What I have was answer here. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Can we receive an email with the due dates and submission times, please? You will receive everything. You don't need to worry about this. Will there be sessions during? No, there will not be sessions during holidays. Holidays for holiday and for your time, for yourself, your family. Will there be sessions during our holidays like winter breaks? We usually support you in making sure that you don't have any inconvenience during this time. Is the program mandatory? Oh, that's a good question. So I think this has to be answered by the senior leadership in Ma'arif, because we have the list of the teachers participating in the program. So you might wish to revisit Ma'arif senior, or maybe revisit the school, your school principal, to talk about this if you have any concern about that. So will you post today's recording? Yes. Thank you. Please share the presentation content if possible. Yes, we will do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Samah. Okay, one more thing that I would like to, so the high-level teaching practices and the digital tools and the innovation itself, we're going to address this next week, inshallah. But I just would like to shed some light, or to introduce you to the registration form. So this is the registration form that we're going to send to the school leads via their emails. We have their emails and their details. So we're going to send it to them, and they will need to provide the details of the school and the details of each fellow. Let me just go back and show you the, okay, great. Okay, so this form is going to be sent to the lead fellows for the 11 schools that we're having in the program, and they will be responsible for filling in this information with the details required: school details, lead fellow details, fellow details, or teacher, the fellows details, teacher 1, 2, 3, 4. We have until or up to 12 teachers to be enrolled. I would also recommend, if we have the lead fellows present with us in this session, that you make sure that you have the list of the nominated teachers by Ma'arif, the list that we received before the program start. So thank you so much. I'm really excited to be with you for this academic year, and I'm sure, and I know, Mansoura, what you're thinking about. I can read your mind now. Ma'arif, and it's the response rate that you're looking at. So we're really thankful for your fruitful and your positive contributions on the chat, and your yes, and your engagement and your respectful presence, to be honest. Thank you. And this is something unique, and it's not strange to be coming from Ma'arif teachers. So this is really respected. This is really recognized, and we're hoping that this will end up, we will end up together having a great innovation and a great work, and we will make sure that we're inducing a change for the interest of our students. So thank you so much. The link for what? The link for the form, right? For the registration form, Mr. Ham. Oh, so okay. So the link for the registration form will be sent to the school leads, for the fellow leads. Thank you, Ms. Amna. Ms. Mansoura, would you like to say something?
No, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. Again, it's your contributions, hearing your thoughts that really refuel our passion. So we look forward to the journey as well, just like you guys. And also we want to thank you in advance to your commitment. But yes, we definitely hope that we do give you the tools to be the best innovators and change agents for your school and for the those in your care. We hope that you will reach the objectives of the program. From what you said in the beginning, where do you hope to go? We really do hope that this journey will take you there as well.
Yes, thank you so much. And I have already sent the high level teaching practices website, or the part about the high level teaching practice from the University of Michigan. So it's not a task for you, but it's always good that you you acquaint yourself with what these high level what these teaching practices are about, and why they are important for you as for us as teachers. So please save this link and make sure you familiarize yourself with the high level teaching practices prior to our upcoming session on Saturday, inshallah. Thank you so much, and see you next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ma as-salama.